Hi everybody, welcome to my latest video. This one is a two-parter, and that's because these videos are completely packed with stuff. I do so much in the video along with Sanchia and Sinead. We go to Sanchia's forest, we go to Sinead's land to Strimm, and to check out her water source. We head to the big city to eat sushi, we shop for cars, I have some friends over for a lunch, and I get to work in the garden in a big way on the side of the garden that was my responsibility. My mom and her friend Lisa really did some great stuff on one side, and the rest of it is a complete disaster, and I really dive into the work on that. So these next two videos are very focused on the land, and that's because I have lots of things to wrap up before I switch focus back to building in a very big way. So let's just get into the video. There's loads of stuff to share, and it's a fun one as well. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you again at the end. What a perfect blue sky, sunny, gorgeous day. And it's a great time to head down to Sanchia's place to see what she's been up to. Because she's been here for a couple of weeks, and I've barely been down there to see what's up. And that's because my parents have been here, so we've been really busy up here doing stuff. And when we haven't been working, we've been doing a bunch of social things as well. So I haven't really had so much time to go exploring down to Sanchia's to see what she's been working on. But today I'm heading down there because my friend Carrie, who you've seen in plenty of other videos, she's come over to help Sanchia clear the woods. So she's got the chainsaw out, and Sanchia's working as her sidekick, pulling logs around and making sure everything stays safe, holding things on the sawhorse. And I'm really curious to see what sort of dent they put in this forest, because it was really overgrown and getting quite dangerous, and I think Carrie has helped Sanchia clear out a bunch of it. Plus, I'm going to go down and see what other work needs to be done, because I'll likely help Carrie do the work once Sanchia goes back to the UK. So let's head down there and see what they've been up to. Well, look who's here. I was expecting these ladies to be hard at work up in the forest, but it looks like I caught them at break time. So yep. Carrie's got the big guns out here, and it looks like you guys have been hauling stuff down from really quite far in the forest. This is a pretty good effort. Very impressive, ladies.
Yeah, it's closer than you think. Now you can actually
get there. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point, actually. And then, wow, we've got quite a supply of firewood for probably not this winter, but next winter, so I can season. So yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Busy day. We started early though, so it's good to sort of do that when it's still cool up there.
Yeah, 7:30 start. That's pretty.
Yeah.
I thought about you when I was laying in bed. So
we were felling trees, Kerry, and then hauling logs.
Hauling stuff around. I'll let you guys enjoy your break, and then I guess I'm gonna take my inappropriate footwear into the forest, and we'll see what it looks like. Just look at this path without the brambles. I don't need to crawl through, risking my life and limb. It's amazing. So they got in here with a strimmer last week, I think, and obliterated this stuff, which is rock rose. I think it's also known as cistus, and when they're small you can pull them out by the roots, but once they get bigger you really have to get the middle strimmer blade on the strimmer and just go for it. I've done a lot of strimming, I love strimming, but I haven't actually done anything with the middle blade, so one day I'll get in here and do that. Oh, it's lovely in here.
Look at all the sky.
Wow. So they've thinned the trees out, and it looks really wonderful. Made a little stair. Yeah, wow, it's beautiful. So I'm gonna leave these ladies alone to get to it, but I just wanted to come in and see what's up, and the progress is amazing. So well done, guys. Bravo.
See you
See you later.
See you later.
Enjoy the woods.
I will. I love it in here. So those guys are gonna go chop up some of the pieces, the long pieces, into firewood size, but I thought I would take a little walk around. There's loads of grapevines in here, dotted throughout the forest, and now that this has been exposed, looks like they have a fighting chance. So it seems like it might have been a vineyard before. And then we've got, I don't know if this is hawthorn, I think that's hawthorn, and this is an oak tree of some kind. So it's basically thinning the pines, keeping some of them because they can be useful. It's nice to have a diversity of trees, but you don't want too many of one thing in a forest, especially something like pine that's super flammable. So you want to thin them out and give the oaks and all the other wonderful things in here a chance to flourish. Unfortunately, it also means that the brambles have a chance to flourish too, and this one just stabbed me in the finger earlier. But yeah, it's just lovely in here. It's got such a nice feel, and it's just so different to the way my place feels. Mine's essentially an olive grove, and so it has kind of a certain vibe to it, which I love, but I also like coming in here as well. And so we'll need to figure out a way to deal with all the stuff that's been cut down. Generally, you would just do a burn pile, but I'm gonna see if there's some better way to deal with those. If we can get our hands on a wood chipper and figure out how to get it up here, that's really the optimal thing to do, I think. I don't know if the pine needles gum up the wood chipper or what, but definitely just chipping up the pine, small branches into chips is better than burning them. So I currently have a bramble stuck to my leg, and it's making it very difficult to walk. And so while those guys are down there working their socks off, chopping up wood, moving logs around, I've come back up to prepare lunch because I have some friends coming over and we're gonna enjoy some food on the deck, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I'll get showered and I'll get the food ready, and you'll see us again when we're enjoying a nice meal and some drinks on the deck.
Lowly beers in the shop.
Then so be it.
The tapuli is made with
Quinoa, special
good.
for you, Kimbo.
Ah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, 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 cheers.
Hi.
Hi.
I love a good wave. So Sinead has been working like a trooper down on her land, strimming all morning. It's quite hot out, but I'm gonna join her. I have been working on other things all morning, and I just wanted to let you guys know that there's been a pause on the building work for several weeks, and that's basically because I've been sifting through all of the stuff that I filmed when my parents visited, and I've been also helping Sinead and Sanchia sort some stuff out and just spending time. So Sanchia left yesterday, and we finished her trip off with a wonderful sushi lunch in Castelo Branco. It was really delicious, and I can't wait to go back and have some more one of these days soon. And then Sinead stopped off on the way back and looked at a place that sells cars, and she's looking for a van. So she saw one. It's the first of many that I'm sure she'll look at, but buying a car in Portugal is kind of a massive pain in the neck because the cars, so I'm told, are super expensive. So this van was something like 6,000 euros for over 400,000 kilometers on the engine or on the clock or whatever the heck it's called. I know absolutely nothing about cars, so I'm probably not the best person to go car shopping with, but we were passing by the place anyway, and it was fun to stop in, and this gives her a good starting point for what to compare white vans to. So yeah, things have been slow in the building, but I'm gonna ramp things up again very soon. But I can't really do that until we clear the land, and Sinead and I are gonna strim around the house, on the banks, around the trees, and just make it easy for a tractor to get in there and finish the job off, because I think the fire deadline is 2 days away, and so we've got a lot of work to do. So I was all ready to head down to help Sinead do the strimming, and then I realized that I was out of strimmer string, and then I had to find it, I had to restring it, and that seemed to take ages, and by that time, she was up. And we were eating lunch. So we've had a lovely salad for lunch with lettuce from the garden, and Sinead is chilling on the deck, and I have a lovely lemon cordial.
It's a fine, fine service we have around here.
For the hard worker. There you go.
Thank you.
No worries. And then we'll be back to work very soon. So I've got string on my strimmer, and Sinead's got the blade, which has been bashing brambles. She's using a petrol strimmer, and I'm on the electric one, which I like. I think this thing is very good, and I think our plan is to make some paths and strim around the trees so that the tractor doesn't have to get too close to any of our beloved trees, and also do sort of cliffs and things like that. And then hopefully a tractor will come very soon. Is a tractor coming very soon?
God willing.
And before we get going, very excitingly, Sinead has the battery out here, woo, charging up in the land with the panels that All Power sent. So these things are, I think, I don't actually know what wattage they are. I'll look it up and put it down in the information below. But the battery was at 0% this morning?
It was at 2% this morning.
Uh-huh.
It's been out for maybe 4 hours. It's at 43% now.
And so this panels and battery setup from All Powers is Sinead's power solution for down in the cabin. So far so good?
So far so good, yeah. I've only had it for 1 day. Last night was only 28% battery when I got it yesterday, so we're going to try and get it up to 100% today with the sun.
But now, time to strim. So I've been going for it with a strimmer for maybe a little over an hour and a half before I ran out of batteries. I have 8 Makita batteries. They were all fully charged, and they allowed me to do a decent amount. I liberated that little tree over there, made some paths, and yeah, I got some stuff done. There's sticks hidden in this grass. When my friend came over to prune the olive trees, I didn't actually pull the prunings away and put them in a pile. I did it for some of the trees, and they're here. But there's lots of trees from here on that I didn't do. And so when you're strimming, you just get stuck in the branches, and it's super annoying and time consuming. But I did get a decent amount done, and now I've changed into shorts and sandals, something a little bit more appropriate for the crazy weather. And I'm gonna attack this pile behind me with my favorite tool. I love this thing. If you watch my channel, you'll know how much I like it, and you'll know that I love to chop up branches, small branches, into mulch to put around the trees. You might have noticed that the strimmer has stopped going. Unfortunately, the strimmer's not starting, so Sinead is on Google. She's got some tools, and she's gonna see if she can sort that out. I hope so, because there's definitely a lot of work still to do, but the Makita batteries are charging up again, so if worst comes to worst, she can get that out again later on today. So I've still got a lot of work ahead of me to get rid of this pile, but I do love it, and it's gonna be pretty enjoyable. people this might seem like a ridiculous thing to do, but as I said, it's weirdly enjoyable. These clippers make the job really easy, and I'd much rather have mulch than a big old burn pile. So Sinead's out of the barn. She's had a crack at fixing the strimmer. Unsuccessful.
Got to a certain point, I required more screws to come out, and I didn't have the heart
Things got a bit scary.
or the confidence to do it.
You've never repaired a strimmer before in your
I've
day?
taken things apart and then put them back together, and then you've got the screw left over.
Yes.
I can't do that to myself right now.
No, now's not the time. So she's gonna go out on a
I'm gonna go for a bike ride.
little journey on the e-bike, have a little explore around, go see the architect, and enjoy this beautiful day. Hot, but beautiful.
I mean, I don't even look Irish anymore, do I?
Is
Look at this. What is this?
that a town? Is it a town I see?
Time.
And I'm gonna be here slaving away over this pile of twigs. So you go and enjoy your bike ride tonight. Hope you have some fun.
It was the universe. The universe is asking me
To
if I
stop
should put a
strimming.
stop. Yeah, I should put a stop to it.
To be fair, she has been streaming until like 8 or 9 p.m. every day for the past week. So
Someone
I think
advised that it could be when I was starting it when it's hot, and YouTube also told me this, when you're or not YouTube, Google, when you're starting it hot, there's problems. So maybe by the time I get back it might be fixed.
maybe let's go with that.
Yeah.
You've been working the strimmer hard, I gotta say.
I have.
So take some time off, give it some time off.
Yeah.
And yeah. Good luck.
Okay.
Good luck to us.
Goodbye.
And goodbye. I'll be here. So I've been out here under the blaze of the hot sun working away at this pile, and I've made a pretty good dent in it. I've dumped 3 wheelbarrows full onto this lemon tree, and I'm going to stomp it down when I have appropriate footwear on. I'm wearing sandals at the moment. And like I said, all this does is provide a little bit of mulch and protection from the tractor when it whizzes its way through the property. So it's been a great day of work. I'm tired, I'm sweaty, I feel super gross. And it's been a really long time since I felt that way. I've been doing some garden work, a lot of video work lately, and the weather hasn't been quite as hot and sweaty. So this is definitely the first gross day of the season, or of the year perhaps, where I just feel completely wrecked and very disgusting. So I'm looking forward to a shower later on. But right now it's time to take this wheelbarrow of a very small amount of kindling up to the barn, dump it in there, and then I'm going to check on Sinead's battery, see how much it's charged, pack everything up, and call it a day on work. I'm completely and totally exhausted, but like I said, it feels good. Let's get this wood inside and check on the battery. So it's at 84% after charging for I think about 6 hours on these panels that came with the battery. So that's pretty good going, I'd say. It's been a beautiful sunny day. And I think this battery and these panels could definitely run a small home system, and Sinead is going to be staying down in Sanchia's cabin, and that's the plan. So it's really nice to have this kit. And for me, it's really nice to have my home solar system with ice cubes in the freezer, so I'm going to head up there and make myself a cold drink and guzzle some water and relax for the rest of the day. I don't know if you can hear that in the distance. That's the beautiful sound of a strimmer. Sinead got the thing working again. It turns out it just needed a little rest after getting a bunch of advice from friends who basically said one should not strim for 8 hours a day. It's bad for the body and bad for the strimmer. Sinead let it rest overnight, and Tried to fire it up again after it cooled down, and it looks like it's working. So that sounds like good advice to me on both fronts. So it's up and running again, all is well, and I think she's gonna take it a little easier on the strimming, or at least rotate between the electric strimmer and the petrol strimmer to give both of them a break. So that's great news. I just wanted to report back on that. So while Sinead strims, I'm probably going to work on my garden. I've got the black fabric to put down on the paths in preparation for getting more sawdust. And I would really love to get rid of all of these unsightly piles of concrete and stone and try to figure out how far I want to extend the top level out and maybe make a line of rocks so I can plan out the garden paths and just have a better idea of how this whole space is going to look. It's not something I'm going to get to anytime soon. Get off me, fly. But it would be nice to have it all laid out so I know where to put the black fabric down. And I've decided that in that hole over there, I'm going to plant a grapefruit tree. It seems like it's a good choice. It has a fairly shallow root system, and Sinead loves grapefruits, and I think it'll look really, really nice in the garden. So I'm going to psych myself out for what's going to be a pretty brutal day of heat, slather myself in sunscreen, get down to the garden, and get to work. Okay, I've psyched myself up for some garden work, and I'm happy to see that some clouds are rolling in and there's a bit of a breeze that wasn't there before, so I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit cooler than expected because I have an enormous amount of work to do down here. The part of the garden that my mom and Lisa worked on when they were here looks wonderful, but there's about 60% of the garden that remains pretty disastrous. So I'm going to walk you through all the tasks that I want to get done today, and then just get straight into it. But it's a lot, so I'm happy that it's not as hot as it was earlier. Okay, I honestly don't even really know where to start. Let's get back to that at the end. Let's start with something that's easy to explain. I have all these pepper plants, and I want to get the ones that are in the small pots into these larger pots that I bought the other day, because my plan is to have most of my peppers in pots so that I can overwinter them more easily. So I've bought some soil, manure, compost and stuff down, and once I drill these holes out in the pots, I'll fill them with the stuff and get these peppers planted, at least as many as I have the pots for. So that's going to be a pretty big job, but a fairly relaxing one. Before we get into the rest of the garden, let's say hello to this little cuddle monster. Hello, little guy. How's your morning going? Well, I hope you enjoy hanging out with me in the garden. What are you doing? What are you doing? What else? So I'd love to get these things out of the ground. So I put these in to line a garden bed, and I want to remove them partly because it'll allow me to take this geotextile fabric out, and also because I'm going to actually extend this terrace out eventually anyway. So these are going to get buried if I leave them there, and I'd like to take them out and use them to line a different garden bed somewhere. What else? So I've got these giant things here that I like to move. The rock, the logs. I've got weeds to pull out. Look at how quickly these things have come up. It's amazing. And then I've got more of the geotextile fabric. So this is the main task for the day. This is probably what I'll start with, actually. Getting this stuff onto the ground, pulling the weeds out of the paths, and preparing to get more sawdust. And unfortunately, it's been crazy windy and a lot of the sawdust is blown away. So I'll need to get more and possibly try to keep it wet when it's going to be windy. So that's going to be a huge task. I've also got a few plants from a friend of mine. So he's given me some borage, this little guy, some version of kale that he made when he saved seeds, and some New Zealand spinach. So I'll get these into the ground. I'll try to get some cardboard down on the beds that don't have cardboard and straw. And then one of the largest tasks is going to be to just get rid of all these stones that are everywhere and tidy things up. So this is a massive piece of concrete. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to move that, but I'd like to liberate the horseradish from underneath all this mess and just get it away, tidy it up, make it look a lot better. I'd also like to put a spike in the ground and zip tie this thing up so it's not always falling into the path. And if I'm feeling really ambitious, I'll research how to prune kiwis because these guys are getting out of control. I know I need an arch support for them, but as with many things, I just haven't gotten around to it. So at least giving them a prune so they look happier will be a big step. And I just wanted to point out, hello, my plum tree. Unfortunately, it snapped here, and it wasn't because of the weight of the branch. It was actually because I tried to prop it, and it must have, I don't know, caused a point for it to break on. So that's a hard lesson learned. I don't know if these things are gonna ripen. That looks like a pretty serious break. But yeah, now I know. Be a little bit more careful when I prop things. So I really am quite excited to push forward with this work because the garden, like I said, it's part done, and once I finish it, I think it's gonna look amazing. So let's get some stuff in the ground and just get it done. So I've got lots of weeds in the garden, but I also have a few rogue, what looks like sunflowers to me. So I'm gonna see if I can dig this up. Whoops, oh, I might have just stabbed the stem off. Anyway, hopefully I can salvage this thing, dig it up, and plant it somewhere else because I do love sunflowers and I don't feel like I have enough this year. So let's see if I can save this one and stick it somewhere more appropriate. So I've done a lot in the garden, but I definitely have a lot more to do, and I still have a lot more work on today. But before I continue the work, I want to show you something. So I'm making some pretty good progress on the garden stuff. I've put a big dent into it and I'm happy with that. Still lots to do though, but I thought I'd take a break and head down to Sinead's land where she's got something exciting underway. She has this insanely overgrown water source, and I think she's about to get in there and start to clear it. So I figured I'd go over, film a little bit of it, what it looks like before, because I imagine when she finishes up with this, it's gonna look incredibly different. And her water source is really interesting. It's a water mine, and she's got a lot of work to do on it, so it's gonna be something that, yeah, will be, I think, a really interesting project. So I'm gonna be tracking a lot of her progress on her land, all the things she's doing. She's the real Portugal from scratch. She's starting from the very beginning. I didn't start filming Well, I did actually start filming from the beginning, but I didn't start my YouTube channel until about a year and a half in. So she's starting right from the early days, and she's gonna have a lot to share, and the water source will be one of those things. So let's go take a look at what it looks like now, and we can track her progress as she liberates her water source from a jungle, basically. So Sinead's busy, she's going for it in there with the strimmer, and I imagine she'll be able to hack through quite a bit of it. It gets tricky as you get in further because it turns into a swamp, but the outer part is a little bit more manageable. So that's the before, and I'll head back at the end of the day and see what it looks like after. I'm really curious to see what she does with that thing. It's gonna be challenging because of the way the water comes out of the side of the hill, but she and I are always up for a good challenge, and I'm sure together we'll figure out some sort of solution for that space. So Sinead looks like she's making some great progress over there, and I think I'm making some pretty good progress over here as well. I've got a lot of the fabric down, I've flattened out some of the paths, I've pulled a bunch of weeds up, and the thing that's taken me the most time so far is this little army of jalapeno plants that I have on the go. So repotting all these guys, pulling out the wooden things, and just lining them all up and getting them watered was a really big job. So that took me much of the afternoon, and now I think I'm going to try to take these things and form them in a circle or some sort of triangular like shape around where I'm going to plant the grapefruit tree. I think that'll look pretty cool. I know, it's gonna be amazing. So these guys are feeling lazy. I'm feeling weirdly energetic, and I'm just gonna keep going because there's still lots to do. Okay, there she is in all her glory. She's not quite as circular as I wanted, and I want to close the side in a bit more to fill in that space. But I am completely exhausted, and I'm going to call it a night on work. The sun is going down. Yeah, and I'm completely spent. But I'm happy with the progress today, and I accept that this is a 2-day job. So I'll finish this up tomorrow and give you the grand tour. But everything I've done so far has been, I think, amazing. I just love how it looks. I've got a lot of stuff to tidy up still. I've got a lot of geotextile fabric to lay. I've got one more pack of the stuff, and the big job will be moving these rocks away and finding a way to move that gigantic rock as well, which is totally in my way. So I'm exhausted, I feel disgusting, I've been working hard, the weather's hot, it's been dusty work, and I'm looking forward to my shower. So that's how I like to finish a day of work, feeling gross enough that I deserve the shower. So I'm gonna tidy myself up and relax for the rest of the evening, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow, bright and early, hopefully, to finish off the work in the garden. So as you can see, I've had a slight change of scenery. I'm over at Sinead's. There's a whole bunch of barky dogs happening over there. And while I'm ending the video on a cliffhanger with the garden, I couldn't also end it with a cliffhanger on Sinead's water source because I've seen some photos and it looks amazing, and I haven't been over here yet to see it in real life, but I thought I would pop over and show you her progress and then end the video after that. Okay, so this is amazing. It's amazing what you can do with a strimmer. Got some frogs happening. You've got some treachery. I think this is actually vetiver grass. I'm pretty sure the previous owner planted this, and this is actually really good for holding the soil. So perhaps that shouldn't have been trimmed, but I'm sure it'll grow back. And yeah, she's just pulled out a whole bunch of crap and gained access to her pretty amazing water source. This cave just goes way back, and apparently that's a couple meters deep as well. So it's a huge amount of water. So that tap over there, when it's turned on, will send water through the hose so she can water her trees. It's a start. It's definitely too small of a pipe for getting good pressure, but it's better than nothing. And she has some pretty big plans for having a food forest and a garden, so she's gonna have to come up with some irrigation, and it's great that she has that massive water source down there. So that's gonna be really interesting to see what she does. I'm pretty sure her first step is to reconstruct the wall, make the basin, there's a second basin, make it bigger so she can catch more water and have more control. But all that stuff will come in the future. Right now, it's all about saying goodbye from the video. This one was a big one, and you're gonna see the continuation of the garden in the next one, plus a bunch more stuff as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.